Well, big news today. This is actually the worst day in the history of the Steelers franchise. The Steelers did not get Aaron Rodgers.
Or Russell
Did
Wilson.
anybody really think they were going to?
Russell.
Right,
Oh.
or Russell Wilson.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, some people did, but
yeah, people had hope. But it's that time of year. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
every possible quarterback, combination,
Right.
everything right now is it's all. Just mention the two letters QB, and like the Steelers are like your dog right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Trying to find a way to like make every quarterback
Right.
possibly fit in, and I don't know, it's just kind of ridiculous. I wouldn't have been opposed to it if we could have like worked out a deal that really worked in our favor, but some of the things that people were throwing out there that they heard where the potential trades were like outrageous. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with investing, doing away with some trades to invest in like the short term. I think that makes sense, but you can't sell the farm for a quarterback that could pay for what, a year or two, maybe 3.
Yeah. The way that our defense is playing, they're not gonna. We need to do something sort of immediately. You know what I mean? Because for them to mesh, because I sort of feel like if we don't do something quickly with the quarterback position, and I mean like to the point where we can win games with him, we're gonna lose all those defensive players, and then we're gonna have to like.
That's
gonna
the
be
thing.
A hot mess.
Right.
You have TJ Watt in his prime. You have Cam Hayward, who is still playing at a high level, but he's not exactly young. So you got to take advantage of that. And you have Minka. So in his prime. So you got to take advantage of those things. So
It feels like we have like a short window and you've got to come up with a solution. And I don't know what that is. I'm still really disheartened at the thought of it just being, Mason is QB1. Somebody said something to me on Twitter today about how they're not a fan of drafting somebody to draft a backup quarterback. And they said, they think you should always draft your backup with the potential that it could be your QB1. And I'm like, well, sure. But like a true starting QB1 isn't going to sit on the bench forever. Do you know what I mean? In the second slot, they're going to go somewhere else. So, I mean, it's that balancing act of finding somebody good enough to take over if they need to, or maybe being groomed to go into that position. But at what point do you say that Mason hasn't shown that?
Right.
Well,
and go ahead.
Go ahead, Allison.
Okay. Yeah, it's just such a complex drafting players is so complex because it's like, okay, well, then you think, well, if you're not going to take a quarterback with your first pick at number 20, take him with your second pick. Or if there's maybe like a top sort of guy, and it might be that situation this year because not all the quarterbacks that are in this class are considered first rounders. You know what I mean? So maybe if like a Desmond Ridder or a Matt Corral or whoever at this point, you know what I mean, falls to them in the second round, we'll go, maybe go ahead and take a flyer. But yeah, I mean, then it's like, well, what if he ends up being totally crap and then we wasted a pick that we could have used maybe like on alignment.
Right.
So that we desperately need.
Right, exactly.
That we desperately need. Yeah.
So let's assume that they draft like one of the top quarterbacks like Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett or something like that.
Right.
In the first round. And, they're going to need some time to develop or whatever because they're a rookie. Like you guys said, you're not going to let them sit forever. I don't care. Even if it's Malik Willis, who I'm told needs a year or two or whatever, you're not going to let him sit forever. Just go back to Ben. When Ben was drafted, the plan was not for him to start right away. You're going to learn behind Tommy Maddox. Well, Tommy Maddox got injured in game 2. So, and then they had to throw Ben in, and it was awesome. So, you can plan all you want. You're which game are you at?
The Ben's game where Ben got put in when Maddox got hurt. Yeah, and everybody was chanting Ben. Yeah. It was very cool.
Well, think about how lucky they got though, because think about how many times that hasn't happened where a team has drafted a backup. He's had to be forced to play for whatever reason, and he goes in and takes a total dump. and just, and never, just never survives, and,
I
ends up
almost hate
being that journeyman,
Yeah.
you know.
I hate that idea that you take that poor kid right out of college and you dump him right in as your starting quarterback. It's like throwing him to the wolves. You know what I mean? And you look at like a Trevor Lawrence, and there aren't enough supporting cast members to make him successful. So then you wonder, does it just mess with his head? It's got to be like a huge ego blow for these kids that come out of college and are super successful. It's nice to see them be able to, even the ones that are really, really good, to be able to see them adjust for a year. There's a big learning curve from college to the pros. And I like, it's nice ideally to be able to see them learn behind somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even in Pittsburgh though, gosh, it concerns me, and I'm sure it concerns a lot of fans, that I don't really know that I want a rookie learning from behind Rudolph. I think we've talked about this before on the show. It's
Yeah.
Just
you want to learn
that
behind him?
Yeah.
Talk about lousy teachers.
Right.
Well, I did just think, like, we thought Ben was learning behind Maddox, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah,
right.
But I don't even think that was as bad as this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and poor Mason though. If you think about it, like, gosh, I really hope he doesn't read any of this stuff, or I hope he doesn't watch.
Oh, he
anything,
does.
Anything right now going on has got to be getting like, I got to go see my therapist.
The reaction,
like he's being bullied, you know what I mean? Like, by all these Steelers fans, and he knows he's not loved, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's almost like, man, how can you even think about coming to a team, or, starting for the team when the fan base is just so
that
against you
pressure
from the beginning? Yeah.
That much pressure.
Yeah.
Even if he never saw one thing a fan said, somehow he was totally sheltered from it. Your own performance anxiety has got to be so huge. Do you know what I mean? When you have not performed at the level that people expected you to, that alone has got to be like debilitating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy.
Who knows what he's thinking, but the reaction of Steelers fans, if nothing happens, if they don't get a free agent quarterback, and if they don't draft a quarterback high, and we're saying we're running with Mason, there is going to be some like people will revoke their season ticket hold. They will leave the team. The fans will run away. I've seen this. I've heard people say that. It's like, if Mason is our quarterback, I'm out of here. They will stop being fans of the Steelers. That's how strongly they feel about how much they hate Mason Rudolph. My goodness.
Yeah.
Folks. There's crazier things going on in the world and in your life. Don't worry about who the quarterback of the Steelers is, guys. There's oh my god.
Well, and just because you took somebody that the fans want you to take doesn't mean that it's going to take and be a great success. I mean, we've seen that happen before. You know what I mean? Just because you pick up that free agent quarterback, or you pick up somebody in the draft, doesn't mean it necessarily works out and you're headed to the Super Bowl that next year. So it's, there's an unfair level of expectation there too. I mean, we had Ben come back this last year, and everybody felt like they had all these hopes riding on him, and bombed. I mean, we just, we didn't make it again. I mean, so I don't know. There's this unfair level of expectation there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that almost anybody could meet that. People are just so disappointed and make it so personal. It's not personal about Mason Rudolph. If he could play, great. I mean, it's not personal. I don't understand the attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Just want somebody who can perform.
Right.
Listen,
yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he's going to do, but
right.
I have faith in the people that run this team. I have faith in the front office, the coaches, and all that. If they think that Mason can do the job, then that's fine with me.
Yeah.
And I would like to see either a Mariota or a Trubisky, or my dream is Jameis Winston, but that, I guess that's not going to happen. But I mean, even that, Jameis Winston has his own problems. He's not exactly been the greatest thing ever.
Right. No.
But I'd like to see someone else come in and just for a competition. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Free agent or rookie, Mason, Dwayne Haskins, go out there in OTAs and training camp and preseason, and may the best man win. And whoever
Yeah.
whoever does the best, there's our quarterback. There you go. Let's have some competition.
Some competition would be nice.
Yeah, it's sounding more and more like they're gonna do just what Joe mentioned, the trifecta. They may end up grabbing a quarterback in like the second or third round, bringing him in, having Mason Rudolph, having Dwayne Haskins, and maybe getting a free agent. Kevin Colbert did say they were going to go in. He said at the combine that they are planning to go into training camp with 4 quarterbacks.
Right.
He obviously didn't say how he was going to do that, but he said he was going to go in with 4 quarterbacks. So you would have to think that that's how they're going to do it. They're going to have the two guys already there, and a rookie and a veteran free agent, I guess.
Right.
So I still think it would be I still think it would be silly to trade for a quarterback. But
you need those draft picks.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, we need the draft picks. And anybody decent might require more than 1 year. You know what I mean? Not necessarily saying that we'd have to trade 2 top tier draft picks, but it's gonna cost, I think, more than 1 year.
More than 1 year.
One round of 1 year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and doing anything where you have to deal away your future, you know what I mean? Like next year's draft is going to be super important, because it's whoever gets the GM job, it's going to be their first draft. So it's going to be super important, I think, to not waste the future, right now. Anyway,
I agree with that. And I just don't know who's out there that's so great that you're willing to give so much up for. And it's not like we don't already have so many other needs. You know what I mean? If we were one of those teams where most of our gaps were filled and our O-line was great, you know what I mean? Something like that. And then you could look at doing more, you could do it. But with the situation we have way too many needs to be giving up draft picks.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Especially anything remotely sounding like first round this year.
Well, I mean, what about a scenario where they trade up in the first round to get a quarterback? Like, I'm not talking about top 10 or something like that, but I mean,
saw a mock earlier where we traded up with the Giants to get the 7th, and was it Sam Howell, or who did we take with that?
7 would be.
I thought Malik Willis.
Was it Willis?
That would be
that's who I saw, but I've seen several. So
okay, right, yeah. Either way, it was like, but he didn't say, when he explained it, he didn't say, like, obviously we're not just gonna swap picks. Like, the Giants are gonna want something more.
Try to be like, 7. You go first.
Right, yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Be our guest.
Yeah.
Be our guest.
Come on up.
Yeah,
cut the line.
We're buds. Just come up and take our pick for us. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I saw that too during the combine. Those kept popping up, but you're right. I don't know what we were offering to get that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's the question. It's, the question is where these quarterbacks deserve to be drafted and where they actually will be drafted. Teams go crazy because of this. It's the quarterback position, and they draft them way higher than they should. So who knows? Who knows?
I don't know that on another year any of these guys would be going in the first round. You know what I mean? If it had been like last year's draft, I don't know that any of these guys would have made it to the first round.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think people panic and they're worried they're not going to be there, and so they scramble and they draft them way early. It's a terrible year for teams to get quarterbacks, but it's a great year to be a quarterback. You know what I mean? And get drafted much earlier than you probably would have.
Well, we now have some clarity because Aaron Rodgers was like the first, like the big domino. It's like, whatever Aaron Rodgers does, let's see. So Aaron Rodgers stayed in Green Bay, and immediately Denver's like, okay, we're getting Russell Wilson. Well, now Seattle needs a quarterback. Then you have Jordan Love, who's like stuck. He's stuck behind Aaron Rodgers. They're probably going to want to get rid of him, so he's probably going to be available. Then you have Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Trubisky. They're going to go to teams, and there are teams that need quarterbacks: Carolina, Washington, the New Orleans. So who knows? It's
Tampa Bay. I mean, there's a whole ton.
Tampa needs a quarterback too.
I have something in draft for like the past couple of weeks that hasn't really changed. There's a ton of teams that need quarterbacks. So the
There
fact
is.
that like,
And a lot of people that want to shuffle and move.
right, yeah, right, exactly, yeah. But you are wrong on something, Joe. You said that Seattle needs a quarterback, and they actually don't because they got Drew Lock in the trade, so they're all set.
Oh, there you
They're all
go.
set. They're ready to go. They're gonna be Super Bowl bound.
Right.
Jeez.
They're ready.
Drew Lock makes Mason Rudolph look like Tom Brady. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
that now there is a
That's
crappy
bad.
quarterback. There's a crappy quarterback that
Right.
has no
It's
hope.
terrible.
He
My
came
goodness.
in. That's the thing. I think the last time the Steelers and the Broncos played, I don't know if it was this year or maybe the year before. He came in and he actually started off actually kind of decently. I think
He
didn't
was
he? And I was like,
okay,
oh
and-
no,
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
remember
we're getting
that.
torn up, but then eventually like things got
Yeah,
better.
he
But
fell
it was
apart.
like,
So
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah,
next I believe Monday is really when I don't want to say free agency starts, but I guess they call it the tampering period or whatever. So
Right.
we find out things. So that's the other variable in this is Steelers actually have a lot of money to spend in free agency under the cap. What are they
Mhm.
going to do
Yeah.
with this money? They might actually, get some of these big names in free agency and stuff. That's my
Yeah.
dream. My hope is, and I think I'm guessing this is what they're going to do. They're going to try to address all their needs in free agency, one way or another.
Right.
Offensive line, defensive line, all the needs that they have. That way, when it's time for the draft to come, they could just say, "We'll just take whoever's the best player available is whoever falls."
Right.
Mhm.
That's my dream. We'll see.
What did you do?
Yeah, and that's something that the Steelers, they're not often in that position, where they have all that money. Even if they are, a lot of times they just don't have. They're just not free agent. We talk about it all the time. They build through the draft. You know what I mean? They're never active in free agency. But it's a different era. Post Ben Roethlisberger, and pre Colbert's last draft. So
Right.
it could be something that we maybe have never seen before in
Yeah.
this free agency. So it's going to be really exciting for sure.
It's
I
gonna be
agree. I'm
interesting.
looking forward to it. I felt all season, I was thinking this is going to be an exciting off season, and the off season comes, and I'm like, I just want to know what's going to happen. I can't take you people anymore.
Yeah, that's why I was really glad when the Aaron Rodgers thing finally was finalized today. I was like, oh, thank God. And then he got, he has this extension or something too. I think that he get So for 4 years, hopefully, we won't have to hear
that again.
anymore, and hopefully for the rest of his career. You know what I mean?
Somebody tweeted today, they're like, okay, next up, Tom Brady's coming out of retirement to come to Pittsburgh. I'm like, do not start that.
Yeah.
That would be
I
something
can't handle
else.
that. I
Yeah.
can't handle that rumor.
Yeah.
We might hear those Tom Brady rumors for the next 20 years. Tom Brady will be 60
Right.
years old. And they're like, could Tom Brady come back?
Remember they've done that with a few quarterbacks when they do like announcing, like they did it to Troy Aikman for a little while. They're like, what do you think? You might have one more season in you after you've been retired for like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
That'll be Brady.
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah,
Brady for sure.
totally.
What do you think, buddy?
I just saw somebody tweet, can't wait to never see that dumbass edit of Rodgers in a Steelers jersey ever again.
Yeah.
I hate
Ooh.
those swap things.
Yeah.
I do
Sometimes
too.
they
That
look
was a
cool
bad
though.
one.
Sometimes you're like, hey, I could see that. And then like today I saw
Right.
one of Tom Brady in a Raiders uniform, and I was like,
Yeah,
Like,
really.
it did not
Ew.
look. It didn't even look cool. I was like, no.
No,
If
thank
I see Tom Brady in a Steelers uniform, if I see one of those swaps, I might like throw my computer in the dumpster. Like, oh.
definitely gonna have to unfollow whoever posts that.
Yeah.
Messaging my graphics guy.
Yeah. There's your new shirt.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, well, happy International Women's Day. Not to
Thank
you
you.
two because you're domestic, but I guess all the women in Europe and South America and all the other continents, I guess.
We're domestic women. Yes, we are. We are domestic. We're on. We're in the U.S. of A. So that's exciting.
Is that domestic or domesticated?
Either right.
I don't know. I don't know.
I've been domesticated. Oh, did you miss that, Joe? I was looking my licking my paw.
Oh, you're
your
like
paw.
like a cat.
Yeah, like a cat. That was my
Yeah, slow to the joke that time.
This is well, the best jokes are the ones you have to explain, but this is
Yeah,
this
fair.
is where we're at in the postseason. This is where we're at in the off season. We're making cat jokes. Come on.
right. And saying Happy International Women's Day. Like, didn't we just have? I feel like we just had some kind of Woman Day recently, because I feel like
Well,
a couple of my clients were like
I thought
thanking women, and
I
I
thought March was Women's Month or something like that.
oh,
Maybe
okay,
that's what it was.
maybe that's what it is.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm terrible at stuff like this. I
Listen-
never
And then
know
I was
until I
like,
see it
and then
on
I was
Twitter.
like, do we have like an International Man's Day? Like, I don't think we have one of those. do
That's
we?
the other
I just
364
sort of
days
feel
of the
like we should
I was
year.
gonna say,
What are you talking about?
every day of the year, please.
Oh, yeah, this is true. Yes, but I just mean like I sort of feel like we should make some kind of and have it like be the day after the Super Bowl every year or whatever.
I was gonna say the Steelers have the best female fans, which I believe they do, but then it reminds me of that Chris Collinsworth comments that one time. It was like, oh, the Steelers have the best female fans. I talked to a female fan and she actually knew what she was talking about. Like, bro,
It was
shut up.
awful. Awful. He's so
Hmm.
horrible. I can't stand him.
Hey,
What
I
about
think
his
the Steelers
son?
do
Like,
have the best female fan base, though. I
agree.
really do.
I agree.
yeah.
In
What do you
terms
think
of
about Chris Collinsworth's son? What's his name? Jax?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like he's
it's another one of him, and I'm not.
yeah,
I'm
and
not-
it's a thing. He sort of kind of has that lanky kind of.
In
the
way
way
he
he
talks.
talks.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate Collinsworth as much as some people do. I mean, it's every Sunday night. It was funny. Chris Collinsworth would trend on Twitter, and most of it is I hate Chris Collinsworth, and it's like, oh, he's against the Steelers. I've heard him say good things about the Steelers, but it's like everybody, we all think every announcer has it in for the
Hates them.
Steelers and that they're against us.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with that. What I don't like about him is I feel like he tries to be like a little bit sensational. Do you know what I mean? I like it when the guys are more analytical and they just like even Tony Romo, as much as I don't love Tony Romo, I feel like he at least tries to be somewhat analytical. Do you know what I mean? And just talk about what's happening with the game. And I feel like Collinsworth always trying to like stir the pot up. And I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
fan.
I thought for some reason,
I spent a lot of time
I read
with
like a
him.
year or two ago that he was leaving or that he had or he was
She would.
being let go or something. And then his son ends up showing up and I was like, what? Like,
Right.
what
Now we have
happened?
2 of them.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
When I was at the Super Bowl in Detroit, we were lined up outside to get in the stadium and it had snowed. There was like a blizzard. So there was like feet and feet and feet of snow on the ground and like this little path the fans were standing in, like working our way to get to security tent to get inside the stadium. And there was a porta potty like pitched on top of this like snow mountain next to us, like kind of at this like weird angle. And this limousine pulls up and stops right in the middle of the road. And no cars were supposed to be coming in. Like that section of Detroit had been like shut down for the game. And so if you saw a car, you knew it was somebody who was like a big deal or whatever. And all of a sudden, Collinsworth runs out of this limousine and runs into the porta potty. And all the Steelers fans start yelling, tip it, tip it.
Oh, dude, that would have been so funny. Oh my gosh.
I wonder if he
That's
does
awesome.
play-by-play when he's in the porta potty. Like, I gotta tell you, I hope there's some toilet paper in here. Let me tell you the
Oh,
smell in here.
that
I gotta
stream
tell
is
you.
coming from the right.
That guy.
Here's a turd.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Coming in from the left side.
Okay.
The water might tackle it. I mean, this could be kind of. We might have something here.
There
We
you
may
go.
have something here.
Ah, here's
Come
a
up with
guy.
A bathroom
Nice.
speaker, like an app that gives you Chris Collinsworth while you're in the
Right.
bathroom.
Hey, now we might have to cut this part off and then make it private so that we make money off of it.
Don't
Now
forget
that-
to wash
right.
your
Right.
hands. Hey.
Yeah.
I wonder if his kid went in next. Like, Dad, when are you done? Dad, it's my turn.
Right.
All right. Well, this was fun.
Yes, indeed it was.
Always.
It's
Hopefully
always good
next
to
time we
close
talk
with Chris Collinsworth, you know.
Chris
telling
Collins
his
with porta
truth.
potties scenario.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where
Must
we're
be
at.
the off-season.
That's where we're at in the off season. We're talking
Yeah.
about Chris Collinsworth and the porta potty.
Right.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
We'll
Yep.
see you.